What up, what up, what up? Happy Sunday, everybody. Let me get my checking and savings situated, and then we'll be cooking like grease. Right now, we're gonna jazz out to some smooth jazz. That's what y'all call it. Speaking of that, let me know if there's like some if y'all know some copyright free music that y'all want me to check out. Let's switch up from the jazz feel, maybe get some dance going or something. I mean, I'm down for it. We could even do like Latin music. I mean, doesn't have to be a certain day of the week. Just a vibe. So y'all let me know. All right, let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay, what's going on? What's good with the chat? What up? What up? So Sunday morning. Why are we doing it Sunday morning? Trying to see. Well, no, I think I need to switch from Sundays altogether. But with work and everything, it's kind of hard. So I don't know. It's gonna have to be another day, and not Saturdays. I feel like Saturdays are definitely too busy. Now it's Sunday, you got football going on. You know what I mean? People got church and service going on. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what my schedule is gonna be like going forward. Basketball about to come through. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's sports season, right? So we'll figure it out. But I wanted to go ahead and get this out early. That way y'all can enjoy your Sunday. I don't know if football is still in preseason or not. Uh, I don't watch football per se. Um, but I did hear that it was preseason. I don't know how many weeks that is. And if you watch football, are you excited for preseason? And I'm naturally rooting for the Shador brothers. And shout out to Travis, I guess. But like I said, I don't watch football enough to know everything that's going on. So, um, yeah. And then football got Sunday, Monday night, and Thursday, right? So, yeah, I don't know if the night doing it during the day is hard. People are working, stuff is going on. Then you come home, you got dinner. So, we'll see. Fridays are not always the greatest for me. I'm usually exhausted Fridays. People want to be outside on Fridays, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a Thursday stream or something. We'll try out and see how it goes. But anyway, did I like playing football? Yeah, when I was young, but as me and my boy Raj talked about, I don't think our careers will cut out for football. Basketball seemed to stick out better for us. Even though I still didn't go pro, I'm still waiting for my 6 feet height to kick in, and then I'll probably start going playing with Curry in them. Yo, speaking of basketball though, and kind of the future of sports, so I was watching this show on YouTube, and it was like Curry was doing a summer camp, but he had, I guess, I don't know who was sponsoring the camp, but it was like they were trying to infuse AI with basketball training. So he had like a 3 camera setup, and like you go into the camera area and then you just start shooting shots. And the AI records your shot and your motion and all of that. And then like it gives you a calculation of what you could do to improve your shot and stuff like that. And it had me thinking, I was like, man, it's crazy. Like, I've never seen Jordan or Nike do anything like that. Even though LeBron is still in, he's on his way out. I haven't seen him like getting any AI sponsorships. But it makes sense for Curry to be the person to kind of bring that to the forefront. So and it was Curry brand. I think it was his regular kind of summer basketball league that he does for the youth every year anyway. So, I mean, it was really dope to see, and it's going to be crazy going forward how they're going to incorporate all of that stuff into sports. I mean, even with football players or anything, they can probably it'll probably be like you, your personal trainer, and then like AI, and then the gym, and then like you go home, right? I don't know. It's going to be crazy. What did I like about playing football? I like racing everybody, to be honest. I think the best part for me was just running and blowing by everybody, whether I caught the ball or didn't catch the ball. That was the best feeling, just feeling like I was faster than anybody. But the one time I did try to play on a football team in grammar school, I remember, and I don't know if I was playing safety or what, but I was on the defensive side. This is how much I don't know about football. And the receiver, I was checking the receiver, and he was like a foot taller than me, and he ran up to me and he headbutted me in my head, in my helmet, and I couldn't see it. And he caught the ball and scored. So that was like the last time I pretty much played football. I realized it wasn't for me. Like I said, if my growth spurt kicks in, then I'll probably just go play with Curry. So yeah, but back to this stuff we got to talk about. So today we're gonna be talking. I'm gonna give y'all like a news update a little bit. Y'all know I'm not heavy into the rumor mill. So when I bring stuff to you, I want to bring stuff that's like facts or like close to facts. I don't want to be lying or gash y'all or nothing like that. So I'm gonna bring out a couple of news updates that I've seen floating around. I'm not gonna be talking about the MCU Doomsday updates or anything like that, or the fight that broke out on the set or any of that stuff. I don't know the details. From what I've seen, there was no confirmation of who did what, who was involved. So I'm not even gonna bring that. It's just news for fodder. And at this point, the way that Disney and Marvel is kind of going down the drain, they might have been the ones to say that it happened just to build up some hype. Then when the movie comes out, you're gonna be hyped up. Oh yeah, and so was fighting and this and that, and it's ridiculous. It's the lengths that they'll go to. But at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if that's what happened. We're also going to talk about Highest to Lowest, which is Spike Lee and Denzel's new movie that is out in theaters, but soon, I think at the beginning of next month, I think it'll be out on Apple TV Plus. And then we're going to talk about Alien Earth. We are season 1. We're up to episode 3. So we'll talk about that. And we are going to talk about Peacemaker season 2, episode 1, because that's the only episode that came out so far. So yeah, that's where we at. All right. So let's get to this news. All right. So it hasn't been that long ago that the Superman movie actually got released in theaters. It was like the beginning of July, seemed like, right? It was like the beginning of July, and then 2 weeks later, Fantastic Four got released, and it's already out on digital. So it says it's on Prime and Apple iTunes. So of course, like saying that it's released, meaning you're still gonna have to pay for it, but you'll be able to watch it from home. And obviously, this is different than it being like on HBO Max, where if you already have a subscription to something, you could just click and watch it. From what I heard, I believe it's like 20. It's between $25 and $30 still. So now, Vice, like the price of a ticket, that's super high. But if you got like a whole family of 4 that wants to sit home and watch it, $25 isn't that bad. So, like I said, this Superman, I'm not really a Superman fan. This one wasn't the greatest, but this is the beginning of the new era of DC. So, I mean, we're in for a long ride, it seems like. And I'll talk about how the Superman movie actually ties into the Peacemaker show when we get up there. Now, let me know in the comments if you've seen Superman. Did you like it or did you not like it? Could be a thumbs up, it could be a thumbs down, it could be a yes, it could be a no. But I'm curious to know if people actually went to the theater to watch it or if they just waited. And I did a whole like live stream about Superman a couple weeks. So if you want to go back, actually I went to the premiere. So if you want to go back about a month ago, you can check that out. But speaking of Superman and Fantastic Four and, Thunderbolts came out this year. Apparently, all of the movies have not done good globally. So, Superman is like a staple for America and American Pie. But overseas, all of these movies combined hasn't been good. And that even includes Captain America Brave New World. And what that came out seems like I believe around Valentine's Day. So, and then even with the presence of Galactus in the movies, in the Fantastic Four movie, I mean, people are not excited. So, as bad as America is doing with trying to want to go see the movie or want to go see these movies in theater, a lot of people are waiting for it to either stream or, find it by other means. It seems like internationally they're not interested. So, that's not good, but that just shows how like, and I don't think that's that whole like, fatigue, superhero fatigue. I don't necessarily agree with it. I just think the stories aren't that interesting and people are just kind of lost of what's going on. I mean, even with Superman, I think people are going to be like, wait, why is there a Justice League or Justice Gang involved in the movie? And even though like Lex Luthor is known as the villain, I don't think people are interested. And then you go to Thunderbolts, and people are going to be like, why is Superman in Thunderbolts? Right? Some people have checked out with Captain America, and they're going to be like, what happened to Chris Evans? Where's he at? So I don't know, man. It's been a crazy kind of spring, summer. I think this fall is going to have a lot of stuff come out, and people are going to be hyped for that. Uh, but yeah, like the whole blockbuster superhero thing like did not work this year. I think we can all agree it's because we are comparing it to Thanos. No, I agree. I agree that we're comparing everything Marvel does to Thanos. Um, and people are kind of lost. Like, there's no setup of these movies are leading to this, right? And then, spoiler alert, but not really. There's an end credit scene for Thunderbolts where they see the Fantastic Four ship kind of coming into the 616. But when you watch Fantastic Four, there's no hint of that. So we don't know if that was the Fantastic Four's real ship. We don't know if that was like somebody stole the ship. Like there's no continuity. Um, and people just flying around superpowered isn't enough at this point. Like we need good stories. And I think even with the villains aside, I think people are not interested in the stories because we don't understand why they're relevant. It's unfortunate. And then, kind of speaking of the fall and kind of scary stuff, if you have not seen the movie Weapons, I highly, highly encourage you to go check that out. I'm not sure when it's going to be out of the theaters or where it's going to stream at, but my last stream, I talked about Weapons. I didn't go into spoilers, but this character Gladys you're gonna see everybody dressed up like her this year, right? Kind of like how people were dressed up when it came to Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers and it and all of that. Like I best believe you're gonna be walking around the streets around Halloween and people are gonna be dressed up like her, and you're not even gonna know why. And I'm not even gonna spoil it. I'm still not even gonna spoil it. But yeah, man, go check out Weapons in theaters if you can. But I am gonna say I don't like this whole kind of spin-off thing. Pop said the whole format that Marvel did really took about 10 years to from set up to delivery of the end game. Now they're just putting out movies, so we're not going to get the same effect. No, I agree. I'm saying that completely, 100,000%. I'm agreeing with that. And the setup is where they got lost at. And even with Miss Marvel, right, and the whole kind of she's a mutant. I mean, that felt like 10 years ago. And like that hasn't come to fruition yet. We don't even know who the mutants are in the MCU. Now, speaking of redheads like Gladys over here, Sadie Sink is supposed to be in the new Spider-Man movie, and people are kind of fan casting who she's going to be. They don't know if she's going to be another Mary Jane or Felicia Hardy. But I have heard rumors, and I'm only going to say this because we're talking about redheads and setting stuff up, that Sadie Sink actually might be playing Jean Grey from the X-Men in the Spider-Man movie. And I think if they do that, that would be the best thing that they could do. I don't know how I feel about Sadie Sink necessarily playing Jean Grey, but I mean, she is a natural redhead. And I think that if they're going to cast somebody that people are going to be interested in going to see, and they need to kind of connect all of these worlds and stuff, I think the smartest thing they could do is introduce like a X-Men character in there low key, right? But yeah, like I'm not going to go into the rumors and all of that because there's all these theories about who's who and what's what. Seemed like it barely has anything to do with Spider-Man. Um, so yeah, that just shows that we have no idea what's going on. But we do know what's going on with Gladys in Weapons, but I don't agree that they should be doing a spinoff. It's like right? Like I don't need the backstory. I know that this character exists. I don't know how we got here, but I appreciate that we had it. But I mean, studios just seem to be so desperate just to, um, they just seem so desperate to spin off anything that people are interested in. And that's when stuff gets bogged down and stories don't make sense. Shout out to Raj whenever he gets into the chat. That's yeah. So if you haven't seen Weapons, go see Weapons. But I don't know what they're gonna do with this whole Gladys from Weapons. Now I wanted to talk about. So this is supposed to be a behind the scene. Oh, hey, friend. Hey, good to see you. I still don't know how both of y'all got the crown. Top fans. I see. That's what's up. Hi, top fan number 2. Yeah. So now some people are interested in Harry Potter. Some people aren't. There's a whole Wizarding World of Harry Potter that I still need to go see out at Universal. But if you haven't heard, they're making a whole not even a spinoff. We want a spinoff. They're not even talking about a spinoff. They're talking about redoing Harry Potter as a TV show with a new cast. I don't even know if they're making it modern. Now, crazy enough, Harry Potter is supposed to take place in the 90s. So I don't know what they're gonna do as far as that. But this is supposed to be a behind the scenes picture. Now, the crazy thing is, like, when you look at the background, this looks like it's kind of like AI'd in. So I don't know, but this is supposed to be a set photo. And then I don't know how they made dude so tall. So yeah, I don't know. This looks AI to me. If you haven't seen it, no, Raj, I didn't talk about highest to lowest. I wouldn't start without you. Or don't worry, we're only a short time away from doing that. And yeah, so now there's some controversy with the Harry Potter cast because they casted a black dude to play Snape. And the people lost their minds because they don't believe that black people existed in the 90s, especially in England. So they don't believe that Snape should be a black person. Now, as far as like the cast and all of that stuff, some of these people are known or not known. Like Nick Frost is the dude that's playing Haggard, right? Let's see, McGonagall is going to be played by Janet Mateer. You'll recognize her if you haven't, and if you've seen, Raj, what was that show that we were watching with Pierce Bronson? He'll tell me in a second. She was in that show. Papa Sidu, I think that's how you say his name. He's the person that's going to be playing Snape that everyone's kind of losing their minds over. John Lithgow is, the dude from, what was that show that they had back in, he was in a lot of stuff, especially in the 90s. You guys know who he is when you've seen it. I forgot the name of the show, but it was when they, they were all from the different planet or whatever TV show was on. Yeah, Mobland. So Janet Mateer is from Mobland. Once you see her, you'll know exactly. I think that's a good choice for Professor McGonagall. I think John Lithgow as Dumbledore is good. Now the three people playing Harry, Ron, and Hermione, I don't know them. I haven't heard of them in anything. So Harry is going to be played by Dominic McLaughlin. Uh, uh, Ron is going to be played by Alistair Stout. And then Hermione is going to be played by Arabella Stanton. And that was the other thing. People are like, wow, the new actress playing Hermione looks kind of black. We don't like that. Racist, racist, racist. And here we are. So we'll see how it is. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it goes. Um, Even though I'm not like really excited for them to do a TV show, I'll probably end up supporting them. All right. And then this was a show that Raj used to watch when he was a kid called Captain N. But apparently they're going to make like a live action TV show on Netflix. They're going to. Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second. They're making a live action TV show called Captain N, which looks pretty good, especially for live action. I'm just excited for them to. This is like a dude that like goes into video games and stuff like that. I'm just excited for Mega Man. I don't know who Captain N is. I don't know if he's like a kid and then he goes into a video game and then he gets like bigger or whatever. I don't care. I'm excited because I want to see Pac-Man. There you go. So, we are going to start with Peacemaker first, and then we'll talk about highest to lowest, and then we'll talk about Alien Earth. So, you know the usual. I'll give y'all a quick water break, and I'll be back in a second. 1 second. Let me know if you've seen. Have you guys already watched Peacemaker? Did you watch all of season 1? Are you not interested in Peacemaker? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. I'll be right back. All right. I watched Pop. Did you see Peacemaker season 1 at all or not at all? Like never ever ever. Raj said I watched the Midnight Boys break down Peacemaker first 2 episodes. It almost made me want to watch the show, and then I realized I really like John Cena, so no. You know what? I feel you. John Cena is like people are gonna like him or not like him for sure. And I'm not one of those people that are crazy about him. I feel like he has like a shtick, which doesn't necessarily make him like a great actor. Um, but I don't know. I think in this case, I don't mind him in this because I don't think anybody else could. I I think I think he's the best person to play this role. Okay, thank you. That was my art director. Oh wow, Pop, you didn't see that at all. Um. All right. Well, I'm only talking about it because some people watched it, some people didn't. But basically, so all right, man. So there was a long time ago. There was a movie called Suicide Squad, and it didn't do that well. And it's a DC movie, and how can I say this? People. So Margot Robbie was in there. She was playing Harley Quinn, and then Will Smith was in there. He was playing Deadshot, and then everybody else was kind of like a whatever. And then there was a character in there called Rick Flag, Junior. And then you had what do you call it? You have Viola Davis playing Amanda Waller, which is a big character when it comes to the DC comics and stuff. She's like a she's like the evil person behind the government doing everything they're doing type thing. I love Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. It if you've ever seen this is okay. If you ever watched the Batman Beyond cartoon movie, Amanda Waller is prevalent in that. All the cartoon movies, the Suicide Squad, she's in that. I mean, she's a big deal when it comes to like the DC stuff. So so they didn't the Suicide Squad movie didn't do that well. So then they basically did it and called it The Suicide Squad. And then they brought back Amanda Waller as Viola Davis. They brought back Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. They brought back um, the Rick Flag Jr. guy. And then they brought back one more person. And then instead of having bringing back Will Smith, they brought back Idris Elba character, and then they brought in the John Cena character. And then basically the whole movie, those two are like going back and forth, yada yada yada. They fight Stario, I think the monster's name is, and then they're like, great, that's it, and then we're gonna make a Peacemaker movie. I don't I can't say that I like Suicide Squad or the Suicide Squad better or not. They're just kind of like whatever to me, but this is back when they were trying to tee up like, different actors trying to take the lead and push the story further. Even Harley Quinn had her own movie that didn't do well. So then they were like, all right, we're going to give Peacemaker his own show. So that show takes place in the DC EU with John Henry Cavill, or Henry Cavill as Superman, Ben Affleck as Batman, all of that stuff in that universe. Now, that universe is now destroyed, and now we have James Gunn's universe, which I think they're calling DCU, the DC universe. But Peacemaker is still the only thing that survived between both kind of series. It's crazy. It was so disjointed and sloppy trying to introduce those characters and get people to like the DCEU, in my opinion. You're talking about overall, or are you talking about as far as like Peacemaker is concerned? And I know this is like a crazy kind of like explanation, but like Peacemaker, again, for whatever reason, the studio is really trying to push Peacemaker. Okay. Yeah, I mean, compared to Marvel, they didn't do a good job setting everything up. Okay, so to bring into like what's going on, I don't know if this is gonna help at all. But all right, so let's do it like this. So basically, the way that they did it is, and speaking of how disjointed and sloppy introducing stuff is, I think they're still I think DC overall, to use Raj's words, I think they're doing it the same way. So this is basically like the end scene. The top scene is the end scene of season 1. It's not a spoiler. It doesn't change anything. The reason why it was in there is just they were trying to show the fact that he's basically one of those characters that's like, no one notices me, and then like the DC or the Justice League shows up at the end of the movie, right? So even though it's like dark, this is actually Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller actually in their characters, but they didn't get Henry Cavill as Superman. They just put, I think he called it a plate, which I don't even know what that means. And then obviously this is Wonder Woman right here at the top. So this was the end, and this doesn't change. This doesn't do anything, but it's supposed to solidify, like, you know, we acknowledge Peacemaker in this universe type thing. And then what James Gunn did is he retconned it and he put it in the DCEU, or the DCU now, from the DCEU to the DCU. And then they just, now you have Mr. Terrific, you have the new Superman, and then this is basically Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and then the new Supergirl chick, which is crazy that they even threw her in there. But again, so that's why bringing it back to the whole kind of Superman thing before, this is how it's connected to that, right? What I thought they were going to do is, I thought they were going to like do something where, you know, he gets sent to like a multiverse or something like that, and then he ends up on their world, but they were just like, nah, it doesn't exist anymore. This is it. Which again is sloppy. Okay. Now, what happens is, in the Flash movie, he basically messes up. All right. So that's the Flash that was in the DCEU. He does some time travel stuff and he messes up. And then when he comes, he ends up on another like universe where he's basically on this universe. No, not that one. He's on this universe, which is technically, this is the Tim Burton universe, where you have Michael Keaton's Batman, and then this is supposed to be the original Christopher Reeve's Superman. And they're in the same universe because, like I said a couple weeks ago, or maybe 2 months ago, there was supposed to be a whole nother Superman movie that Tim Burton was going to direct, and then these were going to be in the same universe. And it was going to be like the Kingdom Come Superman instead of like Golly Superman, whatever. It's a lot of stuff going on. Talk about sloppy and disjointed. So, this Flash messes up from being on the Earth with people up here, does some time traveling, multiverse traveling, ends up on the verse or the Earth of these people. Then he messes up again, and then ends up on the Earth with what's the dude's name? The Flash Batman scene. So goes from stay with me. Because this is crazy. Got it. Okay. So, stay with me. So, Flash is on the planet with Ben Affleck Batman. He does some timey-wimey multiverse stuff. He ends up on the Earth with Michael Keaton's Batman. Then he thinks he fixes it all. And then he comes back to the Earth that he's supposed to be on. And instead of it being with now Ben Affleck, it is with George Clooney. Literally, that's what happens. That is the Flash movie. Then they were like, then James Gunn was like, okay, cool. Everyone's dead now. So this is canon. Down here. Crazy. No one ever thought this was going to happen like this. So basically season 1 of Peacemaker is like the old DCEU, and then Peacemaker season 2 is like transitioning from the DCEU, or no, is basically the DCU now because of the Justice Gang scene. Thank the Flash. It's ridiculous. Talking about this way more than I thought I would. Okay, so I say all of that to say there's a scene in here where this Justice Gang is interviewing the Peacemaker for their like a new team member. Right now you have Guy Gardner, who is the Green Lantern. You have Hawk Girl, and then you also have Mr. Terrific. And then you also have, you have another character in there from the Superman movie that's now on their team. This dude in the middle is James Gunn's actual brother in real life, Max Fillion. I went through the whole Superman movie thinking that the Justice Gang was, or Maxwell Lord. That's what it is, Maxwell Lord. I thought Guy Gardner was like a billionaire and that this was his team. But no. The Justice Gang is now Maxwell Lord's team, and he's a billionaire, and it's his team. So it's like a privatized superhero group. Which, when you watch the Superman movie, kind of makes sense because Lex Luthor is kind of trying to do the same thing, but he's trying to outsource it to other people. Also, shout out to Mr. Terrific. The best part of the Superman movie. All right. Anyway, so Peacemaker's trying to get interviewed because, like I said, he feels like he doesn't matter, and he's trying to get on a team, so he'll feel like he gets acknowledged, and then they basically laugh in his face. There's some stuff going on. So after all of that, his dad is like is a racist supervillain in the show. Peacemaker's dad is a racist supervillain in the show. But he also has like this portal dimension thing that's very similar to the one that's in the Superman movie. And that's not a spoiler. It's just showing that there's going to be a lot of multiverse, timey-wimey stuff, and that they're streamlining how to basically traverse the multiverse by having people having the ability, the technology to do it. Whereas in the MCU, they haven't clearly defined how to do that unless you have somebody like America Chavez that can punch holes through the multiverse and then travel, right? The DCU is just making it simple. They're like, hey, if you got enough technology and money, you can just build something and then you'll be able to traverse through the multiverse. So obviously he has some stuff going on as he accidentally traverses the multiverse. He has some stuff going on with his father and his brother, who is deceased, and there's a whole storyline that has to do with that. And then there's some emotional stuff going on, right? And then now he's contemplating yo, I just got shafted by the Justice Gang. Should I just go ahead and stay on this earth and be with my family? And then he runs into himself and stuff ensues, right? So there you go. That is Peacemaker episode 1. In a nutshell, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it, whether you go forward and watch this or not, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, to Roger's point, this is sloppy and disjointed, and then it's going to start getting confusing, and you're going to be like, yo, why is there so many different, what happened? I thought this character was yada, 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 right? And yeah, it's the Flash's fault. But now basically all of these Batmen who are the best Batman that we ever had are dead. And I don't know who's going to play Batman. And that was why I wanted to talk about it. Because I don't know what they're doing with Batman, and they're just going to ruin it, bro. They're just going to ruin it. Right? They ruin everything else. Raj said, I appreciate you going over all of this because some of it I knew and some I didn't. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You watch some of these YouTube channels and they're gonna be like, these are the rumors, and then other people are gonna be like, these are the Easter eggs that you didn't notice, and then some people are just not gonna explain what the hell is going on. And pretty soon we're going to be having a new Batman, and you're not going to understand why you have some characters that are rolling over. So not going to talk about, Rick Flag. So something happens to Rick Flag Jr. and Rick Flag Sr. are basically the same people. One's a father, one's a son. Let's see. But basically, something happens to Rick Flag Jr. And then you can be like, oh, what I thought such and such happened to Rick Flag. It's gonna be crazy. Let's see. So all right, this is Amanda Waller. This is Viola Davis. And remember, like I said, she's been through the whole thing. So I'm pretty certain she is going to be continuously in the DCU because she connects everything. Like she's more of a legacy character than Peacemaker is because she was in the first Suicide Squad movie. I also, which I didn't mention, is the cartoon Creature Commandos, which is a whole other thing that just came out, which is a part of the DCU. So if you want to watch that, you can. That's basically like Suicide Squad with different characters. But this is Rick Flag Sr. in the thing, right? So like I said, something happened to Rick Flag Jr. She called up Rick Flag Sr. Where have you seen Rick Flag Sr. at? He was just in the Superman movie. He was working with the government to stop Lex and Superman. So he is now very established in this DC universe going forward. So you're going to be looking at this dude and they're going to be calling him Rick Flag. And you're be like, wait, Rick Flag? I thought the other dude was Rick Flag. No, this Rick Flag Jr. is dead now. Okay, well, I guess that's a spoiler. As far as we understand it. Now, this Rick Flag Sr. is the dude that's basically taking his spot. So it's going to get crazy. And then they're saying that everything that happened in Creature Commandos is canon. I don't know. It's about to get crazy. Then we don't know who Batman is going to be. Like I keep reiterating, because we don't know if it's going to be the Batman. We don't know if it's going to be Batman Brave and Bold. Like we have no idea how this is about to go. So, and that's the only character I really care about. Don't need another Joker in Batman. No, we don't. And I don't even know, man. I don't even know. They're supposed to be putting like a Robin. They're supposed to be putting like a Robin in with Batman, and then that's a whole other thing because we're talking about like, are you gonna have an older Batman? Are you gonna have a younger Batman? How are you gonna fit a Robin in there? Is it gonna be Tim? Is it gonna be Jason? Is it gonna be Dick? Is it gonna be, Damian? It's a mess. It's a mess. Yeah, and that's my kind of update on the DCU right now. Hope that all made sense. Now we will talk about highest to lowest next. And in the chat, you can let me know. Does this make you want to watch Peacemaker at all? Are you interested in James Gunn's new DCU at all? Or do you feel like you're just gonna watch it burn from the outside? Oh, also, Mr. T Zone's collection. Did you watch Highest to Lowest? I know Raj did, but I just want to know going into this if you've both watched it or not. All right, give me 1 second. Don't need another. I don't even know what that is. Oh, have you not? I thought I sent you the thing. Have you? So, Pop, have you not heard of the new Denzel Washington and Spike Lee movie? So, what is it? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna break it down for you. Hmm. All right, so okay, so Highest to Lowest is a movie by Spike Lee. Okay, it's not. It's not Spike Lee. Spike Lee's the director. It stars Denzel Washington. Okay, it is currently in theaters right now. It will be, and I'll look this up for sure. But it was made for streaming. I think it was made for Apple TV. Okay, so September 5th is going to start streaming on Apple TV Plus. Okay, but it was released on August 15th in theaters, so it's like a limited run. It's a limited run in the theaters, and then it's going to be on Apple TV Plus September 5th. Okay, and that should not, from the best of my knowledge, that shouldn't be, once it's on there, if you have a subscription you should be able to watch it. I don't believe that it's, you have to pay for it as if it was like on Amazon. I don't think it's going to be like that. So let me see. So there was like a Denzel and Spike have been kind of working together for a long time. Had an interview, but I can't find it. No, Google. Yeah. Sorry. I was trying to find it. I was trying to find the clip without it copyrighting me. Hold on. But basically what Denzel and Spike were talking about is that usually like they'll go basically Denzel was saying that he was typecasted in Hollywood, right? His idols was like Pacino and Robert De Niro, right? So now I'm just kind of like saying what he was saying, like quoting him, right? And what he was saying is that, but when he would try to go for roles like that, that the directors were not trying to give him those type of roles. So him and Spike ended up hooking up, and they started working together, and then they started making their own movies, and then they were allowing, like, together they were basically forging their own path with this stuff, right? So let's see. I don't know why it's not showing me all. But since basically 1990, right, Denzel and Spike have been working together making movies. And basically in 1990, they had the movie Mo Better Blues. And then in 92, they had Malcolm X, right? And those are Mo Better Blues isn't as iconic, I don't think, but Malcolm X obviously is like super iconic to the point where people thought that Denzel was Malcolm X at some point, right? And then another kind of big movie that they had was Inside Man in 2006, and that was with Clive Owen, Jodie Foster, and then obviously Denzel Washington. That's actually my favorite movie that they've made together. I still like, to me, that's a classic movie. You can't beat that. And then now, so they've only had a couple, but from what I understand, usually Spike comes up with the ideas or gets the scripts or whatever, and then he's like, "Yo, I'm about to put Denzel in this movie." This is the first time that it's kind of been in reverse, where this is the first time where it's kind of been reversed, where somebody gave Denzel a script, and then Denzel was like, "Who do I know that would be perfect to direct this movie?" And he was like, "I'm going with my boy Spike, because the movie takes place in New York, and there's a lot of like staples from New York that they wanted to capture." So he went with Spike because Spike is uh, big on representing New York City. Maybe sometimes not for the best, right? All you got to do is Google like Spike Lee Knicks, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, now also keep in mind that Denzel has said that he only has a couple movies left. Like I don't know if he said exactly 10 or what, but there's two things that he's proclaimed in like the last year. One, he said that he's only doing movies where he feels like God is leading him to do. He doesn't care what the industry has to say about it. He doesn't care about, anything else. He's saying he wants to do things where he feels like God is leading him to do. And he's also said that he's only doing a limited amount of movies left. Again, it might be like 10 or something. And this is one of them. He has also said there's rumors, probably a little bit now more than rumors, because he's been asked about it and Ryan Coogler has been asked about it, but he's supposed to be in the next Black Panther movie whenever that comes out. And again, we don't know who Black Panther is or anything like that. We don't know what the storyline is. We don't know anything, but he has said that he will be in that movie in some fashion, which would be pretty dope. Now, knowing that Denzel only has a limited amount of movies left, like we have to kind of appreciate him and his legacy. And I think this movie has definitely done that in its own way. This is kind of like a gift from the Mo Better Blues movie, right? And this is like an iconic kind of like thing that Spike does, where like he captures like, an artist or the actor kind of like standing still while like things are moving behind them. So that's Mo Better Blues. Then this one is from The Inside Man, which is kind of tiny. But this is like one of those iconic scenes from that movie. So to talk about highest to lowest. Now, also like when you look at the like when you look at this, like I mean, now that I've watched the movie, I think this sums up everything, right? So these are the golden Beats headphones that he got, right? This is like the music industry logo for his company, and then you got like the bridge in the back. Now, Pop, you might be able to tell me, is this the Brooklyn Bridge, or is this like the George Washington Bridge? I'm not positive. And then the city is like all in his eyes. Raj said, "Love when Spike does this." Oh yeah, like the moving, standstill moving, very iconic. Okay, so Pop, I want you to watch this movie, so I'm not gonna spoil the movie, but I am gonna talk about it. So let's see. This movie is so like I said, this movie is definitely like an ode to New York City, like straight up, and we'll talk about that. This movie, Denzel is the main actor in this movie. His character is named David King. And watching it, I was kind of thinking of Empire, but this goes in like a completely different direction than this. Oh, Brooklyn. Oh, the Brooklyn Bridge. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah. So David King is basically like a well-to-do or I don't want to say well-to-do, but he's a successful Black owner of a music label. And I guess he's so successful, but his catalog is kind of like older. So basically his business partners are like, yo, we need to sell the label while we're up top. Like we're at the highest. We need to sell it. so that we can make a profit and we can move on. But here, Mr. David King doesn't want to move on. So he basically comes up with a plan so that they don't have to sell. This is his BFF or his best friend. Let me see. His best friend's name was... Was it? Let me see. Was it? Because I don't want to talk off the top of my head. Oh, Paul. Okay, so that's Paul. Paul is David's best friend, also his bodyguard. Now, the thing is in here that there's a lot of like religious, like, I don't even... I mean, I'll say undertones, but there's a lot of like religious stuff going on in here. David seems to definitely be like a Christian. His name is like, he seems like he was like David King. It seems like it was like a play on King David and stuff like that. And then he has a son. His son's name is... Oh, his son's name is Trey. Oh, but Gabriel is like the other son? No, that's Kyle. Okay, well, yeah. But anyway, so, but with Paul is like Muslim, right? So he does like a lot of like praying and stuff in the movie. And I don't know, to me, I don't think it's like a juxtaposition of religion. I just think it's like representing like people of New York. Like there's a lot of like, Black Muslims in New York, in New Jersey, in the tri-state area type of thing. So I don't think they were doing it as a contrast. I think they were just trying to do it for representation. And then so Paul and David are best friends, and then this is their sons. Trey is Denzel's son, and then Kyle is Paul's son. Okay. And they're both like high schoolers. They're up and coming like basketball players, stuff like that. Kind of like the there's like a cameo of who the coach is. And I'm just gonna say there's a lot of talk about like the Boston Celtics like all throughout this movie, and that's just like how Spike is. It's always like go New York, go, and like forget Boston Celtics. So there's a lot of there's a lot of basketball elements in this. There's a lot of like New York versus Boston, versus LA, stuff like that. So there's a cameo of a coach in here that I'm not going to spoil. Ty, what's up? Welcome. We are talking about the new Highest to Lowest movie. Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Okay, yeah. My dad hasn't seen it either yet, so I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to talk about it. I'm just going over the characters right now. So, so as a recap, you got David King, who is a music mogul that is trying to make moves with his music label and trying to become relevant again. You got his best friend Paul, who's also his bodyguard, and then their sons Kyle and Trey, which are basketball players. They're high schoolers, basketball players, and so yeah, that's kind of where the story starts. Now, when it comes to David, something that stood out to me is he makes a lot of promises that it doesn't seem like he keeps them, right? And I think it was intentional to show that. Now, again, with like the religious like undertones or overtones, and undertones, I don't know if it was a reason why his name is David King. I don't know if it's in correlation for King David and the trials and tribulations of that of that person in the Bible. I don't know if there's correlation of that, but this character specifically is a very like I overpromise stuff and then he doesn't meet his promises, or he sets high expectations and then he doesn't meet those expectations. So that's a big flaw that he has in this, and it's also shown that he is selfish, right? And I don't know if King David was selfish at some point, but like he is selfish and he only is concerned about him and his essentially, and what that has to do with him and his dreams and and what he's trying to accomplish. He's not concerned about anybody else's feelings or anything like that. Ty said, I don't get people power spoiling a movie. You can view it and mention as. Yeah, I mean, I like again. So before you kind of hopped in the chat, what I was saying is this movie just got put out in theaters, but it's going to be on streaming September 5th, I think it said. So, I mean, I encourage people to go to the movie theater and see it while it's in theater, stuff like that. You know, get the kind of full like support for Denzel and Spike and all of that stuff, because Denzel only has a limited amount of runs that he's about to make with movies going forward. And he feels like God is leading him, so he's only going to pick like certain roles, stuff like that. But I don't want to spoil it because I do want people to go like watch it. But if I can come up with like if I could come up with a different angle to like talk about it in depth later once it comes in streaming, then maybe I'll do that. Raj said, I got caught with all the basketball jokes, even the subliminal ones. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, basketball was very relevant to this. And then there was even, if you didn't know, Spike Lee Denzel. And Denzel were actually on First Take like 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, they were talking about the movie, but then they were like talking about like New York stuff like that. Like basketball, like very heavily influenced. Really, I mean, if you want to think about it in the sense of like money, like the balls in whose court type of like, you know, parallel type situation going on with that. And then just like a lot of like New York representation. So Raj said, I definitely thought he could talk his way out. He definitely thought he could talk his way out of. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of David's character flaw is he thinks that he could just talk his way out of literally everything, and he overpromises stuff and then he doesn't deliver. Not to say that he doesn't deserve to be successful, but I mean, that's just how he is. And then also what I found is there's a lot of like old school mentality versus new school mentality. And like even like the juxtaposition with him and his son in the car, like, yo, put your phone down, yada yada yada. Like, you don't need that. But it's like, but dad, like I'm tapped in. Like everything isn't just like you have more access to the world like through your phone and stuff like that. So there's this kind of it's like trying to get the old school to accept the new school type of thing. And I think that was also very heavily played in that, especially when it comes to ASAP, who is called Young Felon. Now, I don't know why in the world they couldn't think of any other better name to call this character but young felon. I almost saw like a non-black person wrote this and was like, yeah, because rappers are felons, so we're just gonna call him young felon. I don't know, but it is what it is. Some people don't like ASAP's acting in this. I thought ASAP did exactly what he was supposed to do. He acted like a rapper. But this goes back to the whole like juxtaposition of the like an old school mentality versus like an old school mentality. So there's a whole like plot that's going on between like him. He's like an up and coming rapper trying to make it. David is already like a successful person that's already made it. And then there's the plot ensues between both of them. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to spoil it. But what I will, even though I don't necessarily always do trailers, I'll do this because like it's like a good kind of like preview of what it is. And I think it's quick enough so that it doesn't spoil it. Oh, actually, so if you can't hear it, you can read it. Yeah. Okay. So I'll restart it. I hope you guys can hear it. Let me know if you can't. But this was what he was talking about like being led by God and stuff like that. I'll just play it one more. I'll go from this day forward. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I hope you heard that. If not, there were subtitles there for you guys to read it. But yeah, that's where it was. He was talking about like being led by God and stuff like that. And like their collaboration, they never felt like they were working for each other. They were working together. But also in the background of that were scenes from the movie. Obviously, they threw in, like a clip of Mo Better Blues in there. But throughout this movie, I felt like there was an ode to Denzel. Like there were, old pictures of him with him and his son in the pool and him on magazine covers and stuff like that. And that, you know, that seemed more like paying homage to Denzel than, just like, oh, we need a picture of this. Like there was a lot of things that was in here that I'm like, they're really trying to like show like Denzel has been around for a very long time. They had been working together for 25 years, really more than that, 35 years. But just how important Denzel is to us, especially with him really about to be done with acting. Oh, there was no volume. New York is the queen of. I didn't know that time. But yeah, like I said, I'm not necessarily, if there was no sound, like you guys could read it, and I'll put this in the chat, and then I will pin it to the top. There you go. But then, like, speaking of kind of like the ode to New York, always love it when you catch a celebrity on the train. This was like a big scene in there with him with the Yankees fitted with the hoodie and the glasses. Remind me of. I go put a pull up. I actually remember Static Shock from the comics. But of course, like Static Shock with the Malcolm X hat with the X hat on, got that from Denzel. Right? So, talk about the juxtaposition of old school versus new school. There you have it. And then there was this whole like Puerto Rican Day parade scene in there. That was pretty interesting how they did that. I don't have a critique about that scene. Well, I do, but I'm not going to talk about it. But overall, like I think it served the purpose. It served the purpose in the movie of what was going on. But then again, it was just like an ode to like New York City and Latin influence is very heavy in New York. Now, one of these dude, like I think it's either the singer or the dude playing the guitar. I don't know the guy, but apparently he's like really popular, like very well known type thing. And I guess that was like his last performance or something. I don't know the details, but I guess like there was layers of that. Like there was more of a significant reason of that scene than just like it playing to the storyline. I guess that was like an ode to him. And like I said, Spike knows a lot of people. A lot of people know Spike and respect him. So one thing he's gonna do is he's gonna put people in there and show some culture. The last reason for you guys to watch this movie is because there's a whole rap battle scene with Denzel in it. And I don't know if you guys know that Denzel can rap, but he can rap, I guess. That's a hidden talent. So yeah, so if anything, at least watch the movie so that you can see Denzel rap, right? But Raj, like you might have been the only person that actually seen the movie besides me. So is there anything, one, what did you think of the movie? And then two, is there anything that you think we need to talk about? Like, is there anything that we need to address? But if you don't see it in theaters, you can just wait for it to be on Apple TV and check it out there September 5th. Raj, as you answering that question, I'm going to go get a drink of water. I will be right back. Now, if I haven't said it before, I just want to say thank y'all for um, rocking with me on an early Sunday. Like I said before, I'm gonna have to figure out a better schedule, especially with people. You know, Sundays are hard because you got football and church and family dinner, and then you got um, Monday and Thursday and Sunday you got football, and then basketball season about to come through. Yo, and speaking of that, did y'all notice that they said that they're gonna switch up the basketball schedule? We'll talk about that in a second. Raj said, I thought that it was a solid movie that could have been good if they didn't end, if the movie didn't end so off. Nothing else to add without spoiling. Yeah. One of my critiques really was just about there were scenes that had jazz in it that just didn't fit because like the pacing of the jazz, like I felt like there were scenes in the movie where they should have made it felt more dramatic, more important, and I don't necessarily feel like the type of jazz that they played fit. Like they could have played like a faster up tempo type of jazz, or I think that they should have just let the sound of the city really just set in. Right, like when they were on the subway, like subway is loud. You know, you got people on the train. I mean, they did show that a little bit, but like when you're walking through the city, stuff like that, like it's New York, like it's loud, it's vibrant, like there's stuff. So I mean, I realized that they tried to blend stuff in it, but I also think that this was like more of an Apple TV budget than there was like an actual movie theater budget, in my opinion. And in that case, it is what it is. Yeah, but what I was gonna say, let me see, if what I was gonna say about basketball, I guess they're doing this for like the international people. So if you didn't hear, the NBA now on Tuesdays is gonna include something called Coast to Coast Tuesday on NBC/Peacock, featuring two nationally televised games. One starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then the other one at 11 p.m. Eastern, with all the games available on Peacock nationwide. And then I guess you guys can like go online and like rewatch the game. So talk about people that didn't like staying up late to watch both games, because before it was like 8 o'clock and then 10 o'clock. So I don't know what they're gonna do to fill in the time. Maybe they're gonna have like a longer like in between show. But that 11 o'clock game is gonna be real bad for some people, man. They definitely ain't gonna watch that second game. And you know how it goes. Those are usually like the West Coast games. So that's really unfortunate. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe on Tuesdays between games is when I need to stream, right? Watch the first game at 8, and then between like 9:30 to 11, just do my stream. I don't know, but it's getting crazy out here. All right. Now, like I said, I'm going to talk about this show called Alien Earth. Some of y'all, I feel like none of y'all probably even seen it. It takes place in the universe of like the Alien and Aliens movies and the new Romulus movie. And this one is called Alien Earth. Pop said working East Coast people will not be able to stay up and watch those games. So they must be planning on something about reruns. Yeah, like I think the games are gonna be. I think you're gonna be able to stream the game on maybe like the app or something like right after. That I heard they were talking about, and then I think I think there's a slot during the daytime where they're either gonna rerun either one game or two games during the day, so that people can make up on the game. But I don't know, man. But I think that I don't know if that's for the West Coast people or if I think it's for the international people though. Raj said, "I thought it was a solid movie." No, wait. Pop said, "I wanted more of an opinion about the late start. I can't see how this is favorable to the network or people." Yeah, like I said, I think the whole like late start thing has to do with um I feel like the late start has to do with the international crowd more than anything. Um it's definitely not gonna help like you said, the East Coast people, and I don't know if that's gonna help like the West Coast people. Maybe their games. I don't really know. I don't know if maybe their games are gonna start later because if it's sometimes Cali is what 3 hours behind. So if a game starts at 11, 10, 9, 8, so I guess maybe their games will start later, so people will have more time to get to the games. Maybe. So I don't. I mean, it's definitely gonna like favor some more than others for sure. All right, so about a year ago, there was a movie that came out called Alien Romulus. All right, hold on. Pop said West Coast games are going to start at like 8:30, 3 hours from like 11:30 East Coast. No, I agree. Can a person sue if they stayed up late to watch a basketball game and fell asleep while driving or crashed the next day? I mean, I think it's definitely a thing you should talk about with your lawyer. I mean, now would probably be the good time to like get a lawyer on retainer because you don't know how long that's gonna like, how long before that happens. But yeah, now and that's the other thing with, and then TNT NBA on TNT ain't even gonna be there no more. Like I don't know. Like I know they went to ESPN, so I don't know if it's gonna be like that same crew at that same time on Thursday. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know. I guess they'll let us know when we need to know. But speaking of like, staying up late, this this movie Alien Romulus will keep you up late if you watch this right before you went to bed. Um, I think it would be. I think like for those that are not like into the whole alien world and universe, and they're not like really tracking it. I think maybe once Alien Earth at the end of the season, maybe we'll talk about it. We'll come back and rehash. I don't know if I'm gonna do like a week to week, episode to episode type review or anything. Right now, there's been 3 episodes so far. 2 released last week, or yeah, 2 released maybe 2 weeks ago. It comes out on like Tuesday night on Hulu. So, and then 1 episode came out last week. So it's been 3 episodes so far. But so the Alien Romulus movie came out a year ago and takes place around the same time as the original Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver and all of that stuff. And Romulus is like a sister ship that had a different mission, and then alien stuff happened. This TV show, Alien Earth, takes place a couple years before that. I think it's, let me see. I think it's 2 years. Actually. All right, yeah. So this Alien Earth TV show is a prequel, and it's set 2 years prior to the Alien movie. The original Alien movie came out in 1979, and a year ago I did a whole like review of the Alien franchise. That's why I'm not gonna like rehash that whole thing, but maybe at the end of this season of Alien Earth, maybe before the last episode, maybe we'll go back and talk about all of it. So the only thing we knew from like from the Alien movies was like some of the corporations that were back on Earth that were sending ships out into space, but we didn't know why. And then some of the ships would just happen to, capture an alien egg, or, maybe be transporting like an alien on board. And then usually the alien gets loose and like kills everybody. So And then you got it. Some of the movies are Alien versus Predator, and now they're like revamping the Predator um, franchise. So now, we're gonna see if they're gonna like really make those movies join together. We'll see. The last two Alien versus Predators that they put together didn't hit like they were supposed to. So they may or may not, like, in real life, put them together like as one series. There was but then they've done stuff where they put Alien in like a comic book, you know what I mean, versus Batman, versus Predator, stuff like that. So it's just one of those IPs that they do stuff with, and now they're kind of starting early on so we can get more of a foundation for like the corporations and what's going on down on Earth, and what really is the relationship between the people on Earth and what's happening with the aliens out in space. The aliens that is in the picture, those are called xenomorphs, but we do know that there are different types of aliens, like in the universes. Prometheus is also a movie that is connected to the Alien franchise. I don't know if they're going to retcon that or not, but those creatures were like humanoid creatures that were also aliens. So there's a lot of stuff going on different planets and in the universe and stuff like that. So what Alien Earth is trying to do is trying to ground all of that together. Right? Oh, hi, Oshi. Hi. Try not to scare her. But yes. So we're talking about aliens. Now, in this universe, and this obviously takes place like in our future. In the future, the race for immortality will come in three guises. So you have like 5 different corporations, and they all basically are like ruling over different parts of the world, and the world is basically like feeds their corporations essentially. And those 5 corporations are basically fighting for ways to extend human life by creating things that'll be immortal. And you have the cybernetically enhanced humans, which are called cyborgs. You have artificially intelligent beings called synths. And then you have synthetic beings downloaded with human consciousness called hybrids. So if you've ever watched a alien movie, right? So on the far right, I think his name is David. He is from that new Romulus movie. And then this is the one in the middle is like a certain model, right, of the synths, right? And then, matter of fact, was the one on the left? I don't remember their names. Don't quote me on the names. But all 3 of these have been different versions throughout the franchise of different synths. And like I said, those are basically like androids, not androids, but artificially intelligent beings, right? And they know that they're synths for the most part. And basically they're under instruction of their corporation to carry out whatever that mission is, whether that means to hurt or help people, or do whatever means is necessary. Ty says she hasn't seen it either. Nah, I mean, this is nah. Yeah, I mean, like, we're talking about since 1979, and then every couple of years they come out with like a new movie or something in the franchise. But the way that they're building up especially because like Marvel and Disney and everything is kind of like falling apart. It seems like they're really trying to build up this Alien universe and the Predator universe. And there's supposed to be like a whole nother Predator movie coming out at the end of the year. And then there was a Predator animation that came out like a couple weeks ago called Killer of Killers, which was really good. So yeah. Am I saying that they look alike but they're different? No, the synths don't look alike. Like these are different versions of them. They don't look alike, but they're all ran by their corporation and their AI. So like whatever is in their code to do, that's what they do. Whether it's good or bad, there's no like, oh, we don't hurt people or hurt things, or like whatever they need to do, that's what they're gonna do. Yeah. Let me actually. So okay, so the black dude in this picture, his name is Andy. The actor's name is David Johnson. That's where I got confused. But yeah, so this character's name is Andy, and then in Alien Romulus, Andy is looked at to be the main character of the movie. Her name is Rain. That's like her brother. So I don't remember what the whole thing is, but basically like Andy was like a companion to like her family, and basically like took care of them, especially like her. So like now that she's older and stuff like that, she's like working for the corporation and stuff like that. She's trying to leave off the planet that they're on, and she's trying to bring Andy with her because she looks at Andy as her brother. So they have like even though he's a synth, they have like a brother sister relationship. Okay. Whereas these other two synths don't have relations with like humans like that. All they do is like carry out like the mission. The reason why I bring that up is because the main physical being is in the body of a synth, but her mind is a human. All right. And I'll talk about that in a second. The reason why that's relevant to the Romulus is because in reverse, she has a brother that is a human, right? Because obviously she was a human. So she has like a real brother. So now that she's a synth now in the body, her brother is still human. He doesn't know that she's a synth at all. I'll get to that in a second. But that is the reverse of how Romulus, Andy was the synth, and then his sister was human. It's in reverse. And I keep saying that, but I'm trying to like reiterate that. Then you also have these things. This is called Morrow, and he's actually a cyborg. So he's human. He has a human body, but he has cybernetic enhancements on one of his arms. I don't know if he has. It may be other parts of his body. It may be like layered. Now he doesn't look like Cyborg from like Teen Titans Cyborg. But if you even though he don't look like this, it's basically still the same thing. Now there's a whole nother rabbit hole of when they make black characters like this, they either got to be having electricity powers or cyborg powers. I'm not going to get into that. For the relevance of this show, Morrow, which is on his name tag, is a badass. Okay? That's all you need to know. So you have the cyborgs, you have the synths, and now you have hybrids. In the franchise, well, for the most part, we haven't seen a hybrid like this. Now, what is it like? Aliens 3 with Sigourney Weaver gets kind of weird. Not gonna get into that. That's like the black sheep of the franchise. But this is the first time that we've like seen like what Earth is doing. And then this dude, his name is Boy Cavalier. And basically he's like a trillionaire boy genius. He's supposed to be like an Elon, but I mean he's supposed to be like an Elon. Now, the other thing that they're doing is they have like a Peter Pan kind of thing going on, which I really appreciate. So all the characters have Peter Pan names. And what I mean by the characters, I mean like the team. So this dude right here in the middle, he's a synth, and his name is Kirsch. And the rest of them, that's Wendy right there to the left. She's like the leader of the rest of them, and they're basically like the Lost Boys. And then that dude, Boy Cavalier, is basically like Peter Pan. The reason why they are basically like Wendy and the Lost Boys and Peter Pan is because even though they are in full adult bodies, they have kids' minds in them. And the kids are basically like terminally ill kids that Boy Cavalier takes, and he takes their minds and then puts them in the synth body. Now, again, that's just highlighting of the good, bad, and ugly of stuff that's happening on Earth. So you're like, okay, cool, right? You got these androids and synths and cyborgs, and they're living happily ever after on Earth. What could go wrong? Well, obviously, you have aliens. And aliens can go wrong. And what happens when an alien comes down to Earth? Well, you get boys to fight them. But the cool thing about this show is that this, like I said before, this is a xenomorph. The xenomorph isn't the only thing that they have to worry about. Now, this scene was kind of crazy because we ain't never seen the cyborg look like. I mean, this cyborg looked like he just poked his head in somebody's shower trying to wash him. This scene was crazy, but there's a lot of crazy scenes, a lot of crazy good scenes in this show. And besides being able to like actually see xenomorphs like up and close and personal and stuff like that, because usually like they move fast and strike quick. The other are the kids. So kind of differently than all the other alien kind of franchise stuff, this is kind of like Jurassic Park, where you got the kids going against the dinosaurs, essentially. So like the way that they're reacting to the stuff that's going on, they're reacting to it like kids, not like Sense where they're just like, oh, we have to take this thing out or capture it or whatever. Like they're acting like a kid would react when they're faced with these situations. Yes, the kids are not all right, but the adults playing the kids in the bodies are absolutely killing it. Some of the best performances in the Alien property, for sure. So um, if you're not familiar with the Alien movies or the franchise or anything like that, bro, I think Alien Earth is a good introduction for everybody. I think like to kind of understand like the rest of the movies and stuff, just like mention stuff like Wayland Dutani, stuff like that. They don't go into deep, but I think this is going to bridge the gap and really bring in like a new audience to the fold, which I'm excited for because, even though this has been around a long time, I think with a lot of support, especially with people, their support and attention falling off from other places, I think like they can really do something with this, especially if they're going to connect it with the Predator series. So I'm really excited for that. Which so also that movie Prey that came out on Hulu a couple years ago. That's part of the Predator franchise. If you're interested in that, some people like it. It wasn't my favorite, but this is the Badlands movie that's supposed to be coming out, and then this was that Killers movie. So yeah, I've never seen any of the Predator movies besides the AVP movies, the Alien vs Predator movies. So before the movie comes out, I'm definitely gonna like do my thing and review it and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's crazy. Um, but the reason why I was looking it up is because November 7th is when it's supposed to come out. Um, but yeah, so that's all I got as far as like the non-spoilery stuff. I wanted to, like I said, I had wanted to talk about. So again, I don't know if I'm going to do like a per episode thing of the Alien Earth, but there were 3 scenes that stuck out to me that I hope will get you to look forward, like keep you on your toes about, right? And I'll just say these top 3 scenes from the 3 episodes, so it'll give you something to kind of like look forward to as you're watching it. And I hope y'all do watch it. Um, there was and I'm not gonna say like which episode it was. Let's see. So there was a scene specifically with a kitty cat that reminded me of kind of like the Miss Marvel or not, or the Captain Marvel movie with the cat there. That scene will definitely keep you up at least another hour before you go to bed. There was a dinner scene that happens, or a dinner scene or a dinner party scene that was like, I don't want to say out of this world, but I mean literally out of this world. And then there's a scene where like two characters are like geeking out about like all the alien stuff. And even though like, I mean, there's stuff that happens like right after that, but that was like one of my favorite scenes because it was like, bro, you saw that? Yeah, and that was crazy. And this happened, and you wasn't over here, but this happened. Da, 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 da. And like that was so awesome that they put that in there for you know, people like us that are into this stuff. I think that was a good representation for us, and I think those characters really are supposed to be like lenses for us to look through. So yeah, man, y'all gotta watch Alien Earth. It's definitely worth it. Did I say something about a movie or a show killers and it was related to aliens? Yeah, I was saying that there's a Predator. There's a Predator TV show. It's an animation. It's called Killer of Killers. See, Predators from the director of Prey. So if you liked the Prey movie, you should definitely like this. I definitely like the ending. But the reason why I'm saying it's connected is not only because there's been Alien and Predator movies that are kind of like the unofficial, like they're in the same universe, but this looks like there's a synth in the Predator movie, and this is the first time that we've seen a synth with a Predator. So that it makes it even more possible that the way that the franchises are moving, that they're moving to be connected. Which will be kind of interesting because it's going to be like, where did the synth run into the Predator at? And how did it get there? And I think it would be dope if they explore that in the Alien Earth movie or the Alien Earth TV show. So this Predator movie comes out in November, so it's not out yet. But Killer of Killers came out a couple weeks ago. I seen it. I know Raj seen it. Raj, did you said that you like Predator Killer of Killers, right? I like the ending specifically. And did you not see it, Pop? Did you not see Killer of Killers? Because I thought you did. And yeah, that's just another reason why I need to kind of, try to get like a system going where people know what's coming out, when it's coming out, and I know there's like Reddit forums too. People are into Reddits. They're into, what is that other? There's like another forum that people use now to talk about Discord. People talk about stuff in Discord, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not, in the future, I'm gonna figure out how to get y'all kept up with what's going on, what's coming out, stuff like that. Yeah, see, Raj definitely liked it. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth watching. And if you watching a football game and it ain't going right, man, throw on one of these. Killer of Killers or Alien Earth. Watch the first episode, see if you like it. If you watch the first episode, you're either gonna like it or not like it. I don't think anything else is gonna change your mind. You're either gonna be into it or you're not. So, or if you need something that's not gonna keep you up at night, go ahead and watch Highest to Lowest. And Peacemaker season 2, it's not high on my list of recommendations. But Raj asked me to talk about Highest to Lowest in spoilers, so we'll do that going forward, and then that'll be it for the rest of the day. Go on and get y'all some lunch, start cooking y'all's dinner, get ready for next week. But there's no other kind of like news or anything or updates that I have. So thank y'all again for sticking around, for popping in. Like I said, I know it's Sunday. It was kind of early. Some of y'all might be getting up out of bed now. Some of y'all might not even get up out of bed now. I don't even blame y'all. I might even get back into bed later. But I love y'all, man. I do appreciate y'all. I hope this was some good content. And if there's stuff that you guys are watching or stuff that's coming up, let me know, right? Like I said, watch Weapons. Like if you need something to go to the theater to go see, or go see Highest to Lowest. But I mean, if there's something on y'all radar that y'all are tracking that I'm not, let me know. And if y'all want me to talk about it, I will. And that's it, man. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And then we're gonna get into these Highest to Lowest spoilers. So I'm gonna go get some water, and then we'll talk about it. And if y'all got to dip out, or if y'all don't want to know what's going on, I'll see y'all on the next stream. All right, be right back. Also, I wish it's Sunday. I wish Chick-fil-A was open. They really need to do something about that. What? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Ty said you need to drop some of CJ Battle on the people. No, I mean, I was thinking about that, but look, here's the thing. First of all, I don't want CJ Battle hitting me up for some copyright stuff. Number one. Number two, I've been asked CJ Battle to send me some music that I could play. I asked him first and he ain't say nothing. So I know when his music get picked up and he's, popping and all of that stuff, I don't want YouTube coming through my channel like, you took his music, yada, 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 on some 10-year-old clips. So if you want to tell CJ Battle I'm interested in playing some of his music, but he has to make me a playlist or something of what I can play. Because the next thing you know, he on a song with so and so from Nashville or India, somebody, and then next thing you know, I'm getting copyrighted. So if CJ Battle want to make me a playlist, I'll be happy to play some of his music. But don't forget, though, he was one of the first people I went to when I was coming up with stuff, coming up with what to play. Yo, as I'm doing this, as a side note, man, I'm thinking about taking a little mini vacation. What's a good vacation spot for the fall? I know a lot of people do a lot of traveling during the summer. I don't know if it's busy, the same type of busy as it is in the fall, but I'm thinking about taking a trip. So y'all let me know in the chat where's a good place to go check out in the fall. I need some ideas. All right, so we're gonna do the spoilers for highest to lowest. All right, so first of all, I want to talk about these two knuckleheads. So first of all, shout out to Rick Fox for being in this movie, playing the basketball coach. That was hilarious. But so the first thing that threw me off was, first of all, let me just start by so if you don't know, and again, spoilers for highest to lowest. So basically, ASAP Rocky is trying to kidnap David's son. He got caught up kidnapping the wrong friend because David was wearing the headband. And I guess they kind of look similar. I mean, I guess they kind of look similar enough where one is wearing the headband, one. I mean, maybe. I guess maybe. Okay, that's fair enough. But the thing is, ASAP was like, oh, I watch his streams all the time, yada yada. That's how I know where y'all be being at and where you live and all of that stuff. Uh, and it was just like, so exactly what dude look like, but then, so like if it, all right, that was the other thing. Maybe, and they didn't really clarify how big ASAP Rocky's network was, because when they were doing the whole like money handing off and all of that stuff, there was like at least like 4 to 6 people that were on the bikes and stuff, like moving the money around. Plus, you had the 2 dudes that was with the hostage, stuff like that. So you had a couple guys. So maybe you sent a couple guys to go get them, and maybe they got confused. But I was just like, if you know what dude looks like, you shouldn't have grabbed the wrong person. But basically, you're trying to say all black people look alike, so it was easy to get them confused. I guess, whatever. I mean, they around Pop. Then, well, Pop, if you don't want to spoil this for this, then you gotta dip out. I'm not gonna. There's nothing else to talk about after this. So, don't feel bad. You ain't gonna miss nothing. I'm only gonna talk about the spoilers from here on out for this, and then that's it. That's the end of the stream. So anyway, so they grabbed the wrong dude because they were playing around, and the friend ended up holding the green headband, so they got confused of who was who. All right, I'll give you that. Because if it wasn't ASAP doing it, then maybe his people grabbed the wrong person, whatever. And then you turn around, and then David was like, man, yeah, I'm going to have to pay all of this money. I'm going to have to pay all of this money to get my son back, yada, yada, yada. And then literally his best friend was like, well, I need that same money. And David was like, now we good. Now we good? Fam, what are we talking about? Like, this is like your godson. What do you like? Nah, I ain't paying that much money for your son. That was crazy. That was crazy. I mean, it would be, first of all, at first I was like, oh man, maybe Paul got some street stuff going on and it went sideways. I was like, well, maybe he's really behind it, yada yada. But I was like, nah, if he was really behind it, I don't think he would have kidnapped the wrong son on purpose. Like, I don't think he would. I don't think he would. Like, he would have went through with it and been like, "Oh, well, it's my son. Though, can we still get the money?" I don't think it would have been like that. But it was a little suspicious, like with him with the text messaging, trying to figure out what the streets, like what was going on in the streets and stuff like that. But David is a piece of crap, bro. I get it. Like, I understand it was like, I can't. Like, the money is tight right now. Like, it's not liquid. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just get it like that, whatever. But then also I was thinking, I'm like, yo, the money's insured. First of all, I'm Googling this because I'm like, this doesn't make sense. You have the feds at your house helping you figure out if you're going to give the ransom money and up for the kid and how you're going to do it, this and that. The money's insured. Now, if I might be wrong. I'm not wrong about the money being insured. I don't know if it's insured up to a certain amount, but I know that ransom money is insured. Like, there's a whole fund, federal fund for that, like ransom. So I'm like, why would you care about putting up the money if you knew you were going to get the money back regardless? Like essentially, like, you put the money up front, and then if you don't get it back, they reimburse you for putting the money up. So I'm like, what? Like, I get the importance of not being liquid in your company to be able to get the money. Like, if you need it and you're trying to make moves and stuff, but I'm like, it's insured money. Like, you're not losing anything. Like, it's like, this ain't like a street deal. Like, this ain't training day. Like, this ain't bags of money and you like, yeah, we got to get this money up under the bed, so we got to hand it off in the street. Like, the money is insured, so you can still do it. The writing was good here because there are multiple motives. No one is insuring 18.5 million for kidnapper money. No one. Listen, find me the facts that says it's not up to that amount of money. Right? All I'm saying is I know some of the money was insured. Hell, even if it was some of it, like you just was like, nah, like you didn't he didn't even think about the insurance. No one brought up the money. Like, I don't know. And then this also Denzel was in another movie called Man on Fire that had to do with ransom and all of that stuff. All right. So we already know how the insurance stuff goes. All right. We already know how ransom and stuff goes. We learned it in Man on Fire. So I don't know. It was just questionable. But again, like these are just notes. Like, I'm not deducting points off of this. It was just like, I don't know about that. All right. Just mental notes. 1 second. Okay, I talked about the whole like old school versus new school type vibe they were going. And then they also like threw in AI with that, with being able to make like AI music and stuff like that. And David was just like, I'm not trying to sell my company out so that they could do that stuff. David was definitely like stuck in the past, like he was not trying to move on. And I don't think that part ever got resolved of it. Like, I think that was a point that should have. Oh, I mean, I guess so, because I guess they signed like the new girl at the end, which was his son's artist or whatever. So I guess technically he was able to like move on. But the other thing, I don't know. The other thing that was like sticking out to me about the practice, which I didn't understand until they explained it later. I'm like, how the hell did they like get out the gym to like to get kidnapped? But then they were like, oh, you know, we split up. He went to go get pizza. I went to go get a burger. Yada yada. Whatever. Now, Raj, correct me if I'm wrong, but shouldn't you have a lawyer present in cases like this? Like, especially if you are a music mogul and you have $17 million, $18.5 million, shouldn't there be a lawyer present throughout this whole like ransom situation? Because Paul wasn't the financial person, he was just the bodyguard, right? So shouldn't you have a lawyer involved in this? I'm just asking. Oh, also the name of the thing was called Stack and Hit Records. Thought that was a little it was like Young Felon. It was like, that's it. That's all right. That's it. You don't want to put no more brain power to that. Stack and Hit Records. Okay. Sound like some Tubi stuff. Oh, so the dude that plays in the All States Mayhem commercial, Dean Winters, he was in this. He was in this show or in this movie. He was kind of funny and he was low key racist. But I felt like he just took the character from Mayhem Insurance and then just put it as a cop, and then that was like the role that he played in this movie. But I thought he was good because he was kind of like an antithesis to what was going on, even though like ASAP Rocky was like the real kind of like villain type. Ross said, yeah, lawyers should be present with David since he was worth it. Yeah, I didn't see any type of lawyer type of character, which I don't know, should have been involved some kind of way, in my opinion. Whatever. Oh, there was a line in there that Denzel said. He was like, it's 2025. Y'all don't watch SVU. I thought that was hilarious. So for me, some of the comedy was hit or miss. Um, there was a lot of like Spike Lee in it. And it was just like, but like there was some things that was like there was some comedy things even between like Paul and David that were funny, but a lot of it was like kind of like old school stuff. Like my pop would definitely like appreciate this movie. Raj, I mean, you're kind of old, so like I get it, but me and the YNs, it's like there was a bit of training day going on in there. The whole like train scene thing. I mean, it worked out the way it was supposed to. I thought there was gonna be, and I guess I don't know if y'all. I mean, you should have peeped it, but one of the dudes on the train actually like pulled the stop emergency brake so nobody could fall. I mean, your whole plan hinging upon that is risky, but I mean they're YNs. They're not like the savviest people in the bunch. With this being a thriller, I think Spike's nuances, directing really stand out. Uh, I really wanted. It's interesting you say that. Like, I really wanted it to be a little bit more dramatic, though. But that's just me. I don't know. That's just me. I'm never gonna rewatch this movie ever again, so it doesn't really matter. Not saying it's the worst movie in the world, but like this ain't Sinners. Like I'm never gonna rewatch this movie ever again. But it was worth watching and worth supporting him. Um. Oh, I didn't like the jazz music. I said that earlier. I did like the Puerto Rican music though. That was dope. Talking about Spike's nuances, the Puerto Rican Day Parade music, that was fire. Um, Definitely had me, trying to tap my feet. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't know who the dude was in there, but shout out to him and his band, man. Um, and then and I forgot who they had as like the host and the hostess. I know Manny was the dude, but I forgot who the female was. I was expecting it to be Rosie Perez. I'm really surprised Rosie wasn't in there, but I don't know if Rosie Perez is Puerto Rican. Yeah, she is Puerto Rican. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised she wasn't. Um, Surprised he didn't throw her in there. Of course, yeah. Huh? Was it? Was it? Hmm. I okay. Yeah, I mean, if you say she was, she was. I don't know how. I don't know where my mom was at. And I don't know why it wasn't on Rosie. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was like the Velez lady. Okay, well, somehow that went right over my head. I don't know. There was a lot going on. There was a lot going on. I'm surprised I didn't realize it. He's the guy has been up and coming lately. He was just in the Ironheart show. Anthony Ramos. But yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff lately. Oh, the subway antics with the Yankees and stuff. That was hilarious. I thought that was gonna be bigger than it was. But that is like old to New York, man. That is true. When they were like, I forgot, they were like, "Let's go Yankees," and then something else happened, and then they started like chanting about that. Um, you know what I'm really 50-50 on was the cops. Like it, I don't know. Like sometimes they felt like they were acting like in one direction, and then they would just like pivot and like go the other way. Like when he went into the like he went into the hospital room. It was like, yo, I know the dude's name. Like he's an artist. This is his voice. Like we need to go get them to analyze the voice. And then the insurance mayhem dude was like, yeah, we'll get to it eventually. What do you mean eventually? The boy in the thing in the bed was like, yeah, like that's him. And they're just like, oh, we'll get to it eventually. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we just found the guy, and you're just like, it's not that important. Like that was shady. And I was like, yo, a lot of it, I felt like there was supposed to be like a subplot going on with other people involved. And I think like normally in a movie like this, there is a bigger reveal. You'll find out somebody is more corrupt. Like it'll either be the best friend or the cop or the girlfriend or the wife. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where the drama comes in because then they start like zooming into one person and then they'll bring it back and then they'll zoom into the other person and then you'll get like what's really going on. Some don't seem right, and then that character will be spiraling out of control, and then you'll realize like, oh, he made a bet because just like in Man on Fire, the dad is the one that had the son kidnapped for the insurance money. I don't know, but yeah, and then the female cop, she was like, oh, I used to be on joint task force such and such, so I know this and that, yada yada yada. Like I don't know if they didn't feel, if they just didn't feel like they were like a unit or something. Like something didn't match. Like I just felt like they didn't have the best chemistry together. And I don't know if that's the way that they were directed. I don't know if that was like an actor actress thing or something, but they didn't work well. Um yeah, yeah. I'm just stick it right there. Pause. And then the whole like Sula C sing, Sula can sing, highest to lowest song. That whole like end, like after Paul and David kind of like did the bro pound and pause and then he left the hotel room. Like I think the movie was over after that. So everything else that was like, oh, they sitting on the park bench and then they trying to figure out what they're gonna do and you know what I mean. And all right, now we got the girl that's about to sing. like I get it, but that should have been like an after scene credit, like how Preacher Boy had his like post credit scene. I feel like these should have been like a post credit scene or something. Yeah, and like it wasn't even like a ode to Denzel or something at the end. Like it was just like he didn't need redemption. He was like, "Yo, Paul, are you coming back to work with me?" Nah, I'm not coming back to work with you. Well, I'm always here for you, brother, and that was it. But that was my other thing, and I'm proud of Paul because I feel like Paul really realized who David was. Now, usually in a movie like this, you'll realize that Paul was like there from the beginning, or like he went and did a bid, but really like David, it was like David's fault, and it like usually there's some like intertwining dramatic stuff like that. You know what I mean? And he'll feel like he owed him something or something like that. And then it'll be like, yo, but I did 10 for you. You ain't gonna do that for my son either. And then David be like, nah, but I mean, that's my godson, but I ain't really liquid that like that. Da, da, da. And then Paul would be like, well, what do you mean? Like you was about to just spend the money for your son, and my son was like, your son, da, da, da. I did 10 for you. I did 10 years for you. I did 10. And it was supposed to like be dramatic like that. And they kept it kind of like even keel. But I feel like at the end of this, I mean, and like they didn't say anything about David paying the bill for the. I'm assuming he's gonna pay for it, but they didn't say like, yo, don't worry, like you'll be good, I got you, or you got like a severance package or nothing. Like, and Paul was like, bro, you were supposed to put the bulletproof glass in the thing, and now dude lost his eye, and like poor Paul, bro. So I feel like Paul realized who David really was, and he was like, "Yo, I'm not about that. I'm out. I'm just looking out for me and mine." You say, I say, get rid of all the singing and the L2H stuff. I agree. I agree. I agree. I like the underlying tension of those scenes between Denzel and Jeffrey. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying it should have been more dramatic. Like I feel like it wasn't dramatic enough. And I feel like they were giving more screen time to the cops when it should have been more screen time to Jeffrey. That's how I honestly feel. Like I feel like Jeffrey was the dramatic part of the movie. Like I feel like that's where he was gonna bring it. There was enough, scenes between ASAP and Denzel in it. Like I feel like he wasn't in there overly too much. Like even when the son was in the tub, like it wasn't like he was in there slapping him around. It like they showed ASAP as much as they needed to, but I feel like they should have played up Jeffrey a little bit more and less with the cops. I feel like they were like trying to find stuff for them to do and talk about, especially the female cop and the mayhem cop. I feel like they were just like I felt like the drama could have been shifted over to Paul's character instead of drama coming from the cops. That was unnecessary. Or you could have just had the main cop dude play like that, in my opinion. Um, oh yeah. So to your point about the Rick Fox being in there was kind of weird and funny at the same time. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was like hooking your boy up. And when you like, oh, when you gonna put me in the movie, Spike? When you gonna put me in the movie? All right, I got you. And then he put him in the movie like that. And the fact that he really played Rick Fox instead of like playing somebody else. But did you notice the Brunson? Did you notice the Brunson jersey in there? That was interesting. Um, and then like Spike was laying there on real thick with the whole anti-Boston Celtics thing, and the Red Sox and all of that stuff. So you know, overall it was pretty good. Like I think it could have been better for sure. I think it could have been more dramatic, but I think it was just enough for what they needed it to be. I don't think they were trying to make a blockbuster. I think they were just trying to make a. I think they were just trying to make an Apple TV movie with Denzel in it, and that's it. Roger, is there anything else you want to add to this without saying that ASAP was whack? Is there anything else you want to add to this? Hey, and at least they didn't try to put Rihanna in there. Then at least it was like an actual young actress. Look, I don't care about Boston enough, so I feel you. There was no Laker hate though. Yo, and I'm not surprised. But I am kind of surprised that Stephen A didn't have a cameo in there. But I guess like if they were talking about, I think maybe if it was like more of a sports thing, then maybe they would have had him in there. Movie was going to be a strong 7.5 until that ending. Now it's a 6.5. Yeah. But I think like if you're an old head, if you're a Denzel fan, if you're a Spike Lee fan, if you're a Jeffrey Wright fan, I think it's worth seeing. Now, note, Raj, I know you don't know who the boy actor is that was playing his son. His son is played by Aubrey Joseph, and he was in a Marvel movie, not a movie, TV show called, which I really hope they bring him in like as a cameo. I hope the MCU does something and bring them in, especially with like Spider Man. That would be dope. It's gonna be my next cloak I get. And I'm just glad that, I mean, it's been a couple years since I've seen him, so I'm just glad he had a acting role, man. That's what's up. But I mean, he's a young, talented brother. I hope he really keeps going, man. I really do. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Is there anything else we need to talk? I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. Um, Only other thing is, which you probably don't care about, is the the Dexter prequel show that they were making. They canceled the second season, and they're just gonna focus on Resurrections. Other than that, I don't think that's it. Yeah. All right, people. That's it. Right under 3 hours. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but early stream out the way. Man, y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Get some lunch, get some soul food dinner, man. Like, share, subscribe, share, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I'm sure I'll be back sometime this week with something. Figure out what else is coming out, or what else is going on this week. It's almost September. It's crazy. All right, people, we out. Love y'all. We had 13 views so far, but it's still early. Peace.